Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Closing Comments here on July 1st. Let's jump right into these charts and see what happened in the markets today. First up, we got our August live cattle on the board. We did see fat prices losing a little ground here, closing a little over $3 lower on this August contract, down here at 210.75. Price giving back some ground. Nice wide opening range here today. Price driving up towards our bull pivot there at 213.67. Falling short of that and then selling off throughout the rest of the day. We did see a little bit of support start to step in here at 210.5 at this prior week's value area high. A little bit of a bounce up there towards 212, but the bulls just weren't able to close this thing on a high note, losing that ground back down to 275 here at the end of the day. This big picture uptrend still remains intact. We still do expect to see this next leg continue up towards all-time highs. Just a little bit of a shake-up here at the moment. Bulls not really liking this close down here below the prior day's low, but we do have plenty of support down below, and this rising 50-day moving average that we defended last week that we still expect to see support at. Going into tomorrow's action, just want to be cautious. Any offers below 210.45, we could see this August contract get marked down here towards 209, back to this prior week's point of control. Nice high volume node here is going to be a spot where we'll see buyers step back in and look to defend that 50-day moving average. Expect to see the bulls and the dip buyers support this market still and make another run back here towards 216 and eventually up to all-time highs. But here at the moment, we do just have a couple lows that we want to be cautious of. Like I said, offers below 210.45 could flush us down here into this point of control from last week. And if we take a look here on our big picture, our bear pivot down here at 207.70 will be the line in the sand to defend. We do expect to see the bulls continue to buy up this 50-day moving average and try and get this market rallying back towards all-time highs. But in the event of offers below 207.70 here, I would encourage everyone to get defensive, as this could bring on another wave of selling. Just want to be cautious of that here going into the rest of the week. However, we do expect to see continued support here at this rising 50-day moving average and this prior week's demand zone that kicked off this rally on Friday. Just a little bit of a shakeup here in the cattle market at the moment. Nothing's broken yet, but do be cautious here below 207.70. But in the meantime, look for the bulls to try and turn this thing back around and head back towards these highs. Over to the feeder market now. Similar action, price gapping lower here today, but just trading in a nice wide range. Finding a little bit of support here from this prior week's point of control as well as this 20-day moving average. Feeders managing to close just right here below this prior day's low, which also isn't the best look, but bulls are continuing to fight back down here, defending this prior week's point of control here and value area highs. Nice rally here, pushing back up, but another close down here below 306, not able to get back above this bull pivot. Nice equal distribution here, so wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a range trade back and forth. Continued support down here at 304 is to be expected, but like I said, offers below today's low could push us down towards this prior week's lows and this 50-day moving average. This $3 mark here is the line to defend. Any breakdowns below this uptrend line and our bear pivot here at $3, we could open up the door to another wave of selling, pushing us back down here towards 290. But in the meantime, this big picture uptrend remains intact, and I do expect to see the bulls fight back down here and get this market rolling back towards all-time highs. Just have some levels to be cautious of, so be ready to be defensive in the event of offers below 3 and on this August fat contract below 207.70. In the meantime, we still do expect to see this uptrend continue. Over to the corn futures now. Today we saw corn prices giving up some ground. Most of that downside was done in the overnight session, pushing all the way down here to this new contract low at 416.5. Opening range here today, printing down there at 416.5 and pushing higher off of it during the day session here today, and just kind of settling relatively steady on the day, gaining back some of that ground they lost overnight. However, we are down here below this bear pivot at 423 still. Any downside here below 423, we do expect to see this continue flushing lower back down towards $4 and continue to keep pushing into new contract lows. Expect to see corn prices to continue getting cheaper here in the near term. Over to the crude market now. After a couple weeks of a big spike in volatility, we are seeing about 5 days in a row here of this oil market just hanging steady right here around 65 to 66. Not really going anywhere, just trading in a nice tight range, building up a nice amount of volume here, a lot of pressure here. So in the event of bids above 66.5, we could see this market kind of press back up here towards the 70 to 72 area. As over the last year or so, we have seen a good chunk of this um, oil market getting traded here in between 65 and 72. So above 66.5, wouldn't be surprised to see this market start carving out a range here right around the high 60s to low 70s. But offers below 64.5 could flush us back down here towards 60. In the meantime, this market just is stuck here trying to digest this recent move. Until we get a breakout above either one of our pivots, I expect to see this market just hanging steady. We could see it kind of chop up even around these pivots, but any closes above or below 64.5 or 66.5, look for that to lead the next leg, higher or lower beyond those pivots. Jumping over to the equity markets now. A little bit of a mixed bag here. S&P hanging steady today, just trading right inside the prior day's range. A little bit of divergence here between the Dow and the Nasdaq. Nasdaq losing some ground today, closing down here below the prior day's low, while the Dow managed to rally a little over 1%. Seeing a nice rally on the Dow here, pushing back towards these all-time highs, while this Nasdaq is kind of falling off of these overbought levels. S&P just kind of hanging steady as it is a mix of the two. We do have a pretty high concentration of volume getting built up here throughout this last 2 days range. Any offers below 62.26, we could see this thing start to flush back down here towards 61.45 and start a pullback here. However, here in the evening session already, we are starting to get some bids here above 62.60. If we start to get that, expect bids above that line. Look for this market just to keep drifting higher in this nice low volatility uptrend. This market does still remain in a nice uptrend and very healthy action here at the moment. Just starting to hit some overextended levels, so a pullback would be welcome, but dips are expected to be bought up. Look for the Nasdaq and the Dow to, if they keep going opposite directions, we could see the S&P continue to chop, but these indexes are up here in overbought territory, so a dip would be welcome after the end of quarter two markup. Everyone's statement's looking good, so wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a dip here back towards the 20-day moving average, but look for the bulls to step back in and continue this nice uptrend here in these equity markets. That's all we got for today. Have a good night.